Today is March 18th, 2020. Today is new comic book release day. So hopefully everybody was able to get out safely and pick up whatever comic books you wanted to pick up. If it is not safe in your area to venture out, then please stay home. Most comic book shops that I heard, several I should say, online that I heard about, you were able to actually call into them, tell them what you would want, and they'd go ahead and pull all your books. You could pretty much go there and do curbside service, just pick them up without actually having to even get out of your vehicle. I know I heard about several comic book stores around the country who are doing that service. If yours did that, I don't know. I'm sure if you called them, I'm sure they'd take care of you if you're like a regular customer. But my comic book stores were open to the public still. Indiana hasn't really been hit that hard yet by this virus. And like I'm still healthy, my wife's still healthy, we're still good. We only leave the house if we have to. Like we had to make a run to the grocery store just to get groceries for like our normal like shopping week. And then today I ventured out to comic book stores, went there, came straight back. So here's what I got today. It was a big day. It was actually, I didn't buy as much as I usually have in weeks past. But before we start this, I would like to talk about one comic from my personal collection that I have. And this week, I have in my collection, it looks like it's a key issue, right? Well, it is Detective Comics number 27, the reprint from what year? 1984. So this is the reprint of the first appearance of Batman. It is graded at 9.8 white pages. So I would love someday to actually own Detective Comics number 27. Will I ever own it? I don't know. It's too expensive. It's out of most people's price ranges. Next best thing is get a reprint that's 36 years old, graded at 9.8 white pages. So this is probably as close as I'll ever get to an actual, the first appearance of Batman. But I'm happy to have it no matter what in my collection. Today, the first place I went to was actually Circle City Comics in Indianapolis, Indiana. They are located right on the corner of Michigan Road and 86th Street. On Wednesdays, they have 50% off of all new cover comics. So it's always a great place to go and pick up just like your common covers there for 50% off the first day they come out. And there I spent a total of $63.38 at Circle City Comics. I'll show you what I got and kind of talk about why I bought each one. First one I picked up at Circle City Comics is Fantastic Four number 20. This is the first appearance of an Elder of the Universe. So first appearance, everybody knows, I collect first appearance comics, and I like to collect Major Death's number 1 issue. So Fantastic Four, it's Marvel, it's a first appearance, had to pick it up, new release comic day. Next comic I picked up was Guardians of the Galaxy number 3. Awesome cover art on this. This actually has a 1 in 25 variant this week. I could not find the 1 in 25 variant at the first place I went, but this is the first team appearance of West Spiral Arm Guardians and the first appearance of the Prince of Power. So you got 2 first appearances in one comic. This is kind of sitting on shelves right now. Most people are not buying this, but 2 first appearances, had to pick it up. Guardians of the Galaxy. The next one, the new Spider-Woman number 1. This one probably has 25, 30 different covers around the country. My first shop I went to, I think they had 8 different covers. 8 or 9 different covers. And this one I got is just the common cover, like cover A. I am looking for some of the variants, but once I got it at Circle City Comics, all the variants were like the hard to get 1 in 25 variants, they were already gone. They were cleaned out. But this one has no first appearances. It's just pretty much a reboot of a Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman soon, I think, will be in the MCU. Cool comic. Future value on this, I don't really know it's going to be a whole lot. It's more if you're just if you're a fan of Marvel or Spider-Man or Spider-Woman. So I picked 1 copy up of cover A. But don't worry, don't fret. If you want this cover, comic shops will have this cover for probably months sitting because there's a lot of them. A lot of them. Next one I picked up. It wasn't really on my list to get, but I got there and I saw it was a number 1. And I kind of like the cover of it too. Outlaw number 1. It is a Marvel Comics. It is a tie-in to the incoming one-shot with consequences that affect the younger generation of heroes. Cool cover, and it's a number 1. It's a Marvel. Should I have picked it up? I don't know. There is a hard-to-get variant of this. They didn't have it, so hopefully the second spot might have the variant, because that's actually what I wanted more. But But just in case, I just got cover A just in case. Next one, this one has some buzz around it already. This is The Resistance #1. This had 2 covers to it there. Cover A was already, so actually I wanted cover A. This is cover B. Cover A was really, really cool. It had like the earth and a skull and flaming, ultra cool. But they were already sold out of cover A at my first comic book shop. So I got cover B. Cover B is not even like half as cool as cover A. But a little bit about The Resistance #1. This is a 6-issue limited series that launches the Upshot universe. A global pandemic kills hundreds of millions, but leaves some of the survivors with extraordinary powers. So it's kind of strange how this comic came out around this time while we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. Most of these comic books are actually planned out and made months in advance. So they had no idea that this comic would actually come out during like the new virus pandemic that we have going on. Pure coincidence. But this comic, I think, is going to be a hot one just because of the current events in real world. And you have a comic based on a pandemic virus. So picked up cover B, but I want cover A. So hopefully the next shop I go to has cover A, which is what I really want. Next one I got. This actually is a newer company. I think it's the same as this company, called AWA Upshot. This is a red border, issue #1 of 4. It is #1. I collect #1s, especially of new comic book runs. Just something I collect. And a little bit about this is it's escaping from a drug cartel to Texas. A Mexican couple crosses across a mysterious house where the host proved to be more sinister than the cartel itself. So interesting kind of storyline, right? I mean, that kind of storyline, I could see that become like a Netflix show, Netflix series. You never know. Picked up 1 cover, and I'm actually interested to actually read this one to see what kind of story this is about. Very curious. This next one, I was actually prospecting on, hopefully, that it didn't sell out, and it didn't. But this is also another one of these AWA Upshot comics. It is called Hotel. This comic is just based off of Route 66, the Marriott Courts Hotel, where many check in, but few check out. Kind of has that psycho vibe to it, kind of. Almost like a American Horror Story, kind of like the hotel vibe. It intrigued me. The cover on it was ultra cool, too. And I like horror comics, so this one was a must-cop, in my personal opinion. If you like horror comics, I'd give this a shot. I haven't read it yet, but I bet it's going to be a pretty good read. Next one, when I was there, I wasn't prospecting this one at all. I'd never even heard of it. This is by Aftershock Comics, called Knight's Temporal #1. This is the lenticular cover. It is a pretty limited cover from what I understand. They actually had this next to the checkout counter whenever I was checking out. I've never seen this, never heard. I actually don't know anything about this comic. I don't have any kind of preview of anything about this. But the cover is really cool. It is lenticular cover. I'm not sure if you can see. I'm sure you can. But they had a price on it of $9.99. Of course, with a 50% off, this is only $8.50 the first day. And I know nothing about this. The cover's cool. You got a guy on a motorcycle. He's carrying a freaking sword. So, sounds kind of awesome, right? Picked it up. Why not? They actually only had 3 or 4 left at that time. Next one, I read a little bit of buzz about this before it came out. So originally, it wasn't on my radar. But after I read a little bit about this, I say, you know what? If I see it there, I'll pick it up. This is Artemis and the Assassin #1 by Aftershock Comics. So this is about a secret time-traveling organization sends an assassin back to World War II era to kill a woman whose death would have an effect on the war. So, I don't know. It's not the kind of comic that I would read. I picked this up completely just because it is a #1. And sometimes comics take off and become pretty popular. So, it's a #1. I picked it up. Next one, I think I'm the only person left who's actually buying this. Most comic book shops aren't buying very many covers of this anymore. The first shop I had maybe 10 covers in total, but we have Red Mother #4, cover A and cover B. I've actually read the first 3, and this is actually a very interesting read. I've enjoyed the read. I can't wait to read issue #4 to see what happens. If you're into a horror, kind of a thriller-based comic, start reading Red Mother series. Most of the #1s, the first prints are gone. I think they're on like the 3rd print now. So you can still probably get a 3rd print #1 and then first print probably 2, 3, and 4 more than likely at most comic book shops around the country. But I would definitely recommend this as a read if you're into horror comics because I'm actually a big fan of the Red Mother series. And hopefully it takes off and does really well, becomes a TV show someday, because I think it'd be an excellent TV show. Next, we got a Spawn. I haven't bought a Spawn for about a month or more, I bet. But we got Spawn number 306. I think the cover on this thing is a very awesome cover. This actually it does have a first appearance. This has the first appearance of Raptor and the origin of Ninja Spawn. So, for $2.99 cover price, very reasonable. If you're a Spawn fan, you like first appearances, pick this one up. This one I wasn't too sure if I was going to buy it or not. When I was there at the store, I saw it, so I went ahead, I picked it up. This is from Dark Horse Comics called Starship Down. It is a #1, a brand new series. It is an anthropologist investigates the discovery of an extraterrestrial ship buried under the ice for thousands of years in Siberia. So, you got extraterrestrial, you've got some mystery, you've got some discovery. It's a #1, picked it up. Maybe it'll be a hit. You never know. This last one, I completely picked up, honestly, because the covers thing was freaking awesome. This will have no future value. It probably, within a couple months, this will probably be in like dollar boxes across the country. But this one is Deceased Unkillables #2. But the cover of this, you have the helmet that is inspired by the movie Full Metal Jacket, with where in Full Metal Jacket, it's Born to Kill. Little Planet, they said Reborn to Kill. So I thought this cover was just an awesome cover. This would actually be a good cover to get autographed by the artists who are part of this book. I think this is the coolest cover of the day that I found. Is Deceased Unkillables #2. I'll just call it the Full Metal Jacket variant cover. That is everything from the first place I went to, but there was a second shop I went to today to pick up some other covers that first shop didn't have, and look for some of the hard to find 1 in 25 variants I'm looking for. Second spot I went to is called Comic Carnival, which is on Keystone Avenue and around like 79th Street area, a little bit south of that, in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's actually at 7225 North Keystone Avenue. I go there every single week. I usually have pretty good luck there finding comics that may be a little bit harder to find there. I spent a total at Comic Carnival of $56.14. So for the week, I spent about, what, $120 or so, I think. So it was actually a lighter week for me. But while I was there, I got one of them that Circle City Comics did not have, but Comic Carnival had it. We got Nightwing number 70. I think this is a very cool cover. I was happy that they had this one there. The first place did it, and this was on my list to pick up. This is the first issue that will tie in to the Joker War, which officially begins in Batman #95 and runs through Batman #100. Nightwing tie-ins runs through issue number 75. This did have some variant covers. They only had just this one cover. No, I take it back. They had the variant actually. And I wasn't a big fan of the cover B variant. The cover A I thought was 10 times better than the cover B. So I picked this up because this has a tie-in to the new Joker War that's going on. And the Joker War will probably include more punchline, I bet. But we'll find out as time goes on about the Joker War. The next comic I was wanting to pick up at the first place. They didn't have it, but Comic Carnival came through for me. I think this cover is fantastic. This is another one from the AWA Upshot comic book company. This cover looks like an American soldier with kind of like angel wings. When heaven and earth wage hell and eternal war for the souls of mankind, there is an 8th archangel who operates under a different code. I think this could be a pretty good read. You never know. Picked up one copy. Remember the first place I told you about Resistance #1? I wanted cover A, I wanted cover B. Comic Carnival had my cover A for me. Very happy. Look at the cover on that. Remember I told you about how kind of like a skull in the shape of Earth? It's flaming. Very cool cover. So I'm very happy I was able to get cover A at Comic Carnival. So I actually have cover A and cover B of the new Resistance series. That's okay. I wanted this one, but I got them both. So two's better than one, right? This next one, I actually only knew about this because I watch on YouTube the Comic Book Palace YouTube channel. And last night they made a video talking about upcoming comics. And this is one that the owner talked about from a brand new company called Alterna Comics. They only charge $1.50 also. And I guess when he said it's pretty limited comic run. And it's called Blood Realm. I don't really honestly know a whole lot about this, but it's a brand new comic book company. I guess this is like some of the first runs I've ever done of comics. And only $1.50 a comic. And this actually has the paper of this of the comics like back in the 80s, which this is the kind of cover that if you touch it too much, it gets all creased and bent up pretty easily. So I want to support the smaller upstart comic book companies, so for $1.50, I'm going to give it a chance. It might be a good read. Okay, you remember the first place I wanted some of the harder to find variants? Carnivore always comes through for me with the harder to find variants that I've been wanting. So the first one I got, remember the Outlaw #1 that I talked to you about from the first place? I wanted the harder to find 1 in 25 variant. They didn't have, so I went ahead, I picked up the cover A. Carnivore had it. The 1 in 25 Outlaw #1 variant. They had a price of it of $12. That is worth every dime of that. So I got the 1 in 25 variant. This was actually I was hoping to find, and I found it. I bought it. I'm very happy with that. So one of the variant covers I was really wanting and found one. And I told you earlier, with the new Spider-Woman coming out, the Spider-Woman #1, there's literally, honestly, there's probably 50 different covers coming out of just common covers across the country. Every comic book shop is going to have their own special limited variant cover. They're going to make second prints, probably third prints, but just right now, the first day, I saw probably a dozen different covers. I bought cover A at the first place. Carnival had the 1 in 25 variants, 2 of them, which is actually what I was hoping to find, because I actually wanted to get a couple of Spider-Womans, but I didn't want to get a whole bunch of just the common covers. I wanted to hopefully find some of the harder to find variant covers. I got some. So this first one is a 1 in 25 variant. This is art by Care Andrews. So comic shops had to order 25 copies in order to get one of these. They only got in 1 copy, and I was happy to get one. 1 in 25 variant. They had another 1 in 25 variant while I was there. This one was $12. I happily picked it up. This is cover art done by Bruce Timm for Spider-Woman #1. So once again, they had to order 25 copies in order to get this cover. And I got it, very happy. So I was able to secure 2 Spider-Woman #1s, 1 in 25 variants. So very happy with that. So that is the comic books for today, March 18th, 2020. So once again, if you venture out to get your comics, be safe. Take any kind of measures possible to stay clean. Keep your distance to anybody who's coughing. Only go out if you yourself are feeling okay. So like I said earlier, if you do want your comic books, I would say call up your comic book shop ahead of time. Say, hey, could you possibly pull what I want? And I'll just come by, maybe do a curbside service, or pretty much run in and run right back out. Call them. They might be able to work with you. I'm sure most of them will. If they're still opened up, I should say also. So I will see you next week with another new comic book day. And everybody stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.